Hey folks, this is Brian. I've got an update for Far Horizons. Dylan's personal log. So we met with Siva. She's been gathering up refugees, but nothing from further south than someplace called Omanyani. We were discussing with her about this prophecy and some of the things about the great shifting. There's supposed to be a cleansing of the land, which they think is a tidal wave. Oh, which reminds me that that nuke we thought that went off by the city was in fact an asteroid that hit the planet, which caused a huge explosion, obviously, in the tidal wave and secondary and tertiary earthquakes and stuff like that. But there's also reference to this prophecy about off-worlders. She tells us that the golden age that the government has been pushing is a lie, that there are actually three great shakings. And Siva tells us that the first premier brought great wisdom in their current way of life, but the subsequent premiers brought about corruption and polluted their society. Some background government kind of stuff, just trying to fill us in on what's going on as we try to dig into what's happening ourselves. She is, however, very concerned about barbarians to the south, the lizard-riding people. Robin is getting confused at this point because she doesn't really see our animosity towards her because we were paid 700,000 Krillian credits to deliver the weapons that they bought. And so we went through a little rigmarole on, okay, we're not really the people you think we are. And they agreed to help us find the ship, but right now they need our help. They've got people who are sick, and this all started right after the delivery of the weapons. And they don't have any way to power the commune here, and that sort of thing. So we, put our brains together, and we start cannibalizing some of the down vehicles to make, a windmill and a water wheel, and we try to run power generation to a actual generator in the machine shop, so we have to start making parts and doing things. The doc starts doing his own investigation on all these people being sick. It turns out that all the medication, there's medication in the shipment along with the weapons and food and stuff. Everything's been tainted with some kind of designer addictive drug. And you recall something similar happened in the CSA about 50 years ago. One of the guys that he's checking out has surgical sutures in different parts of his body. Turns out that he's actually missing organs. Apparently this guy was a political prisoner and was in some kind of an asylum because he's a social deviant. So getting back to the whole shipment coordination thing, we start asking Robin some more specific kinds of information about when did the last diplomatic team come, which was last month, who negotiated this whole weapons, medication, food shipment thing. And because these weapons are advanced combat rifles, they're above tech level for this planet. And she either has a picture or draws us a picture of the guy that she coordinated all this with, right? This is the same guy, Drake, that we ran into at the police station back on, not Baphomet. Yeah, no, not Baphomet. One of their planets where we had come off of our first piracy investigation. When we got caught with weapons on board and that kind of stuff. The guy that there was no recording of and that nobody remembered him being there except for us. All this ties together somehow with this circular scar thing the girl drew on her arm, and this invisible sun motif. that matches up with the cave paintings. And so I do some more, going through my records again about the whole arachnids and the mantis people. So I'm sharing some of this with the folks here. And that there is a ring-like crown on one of the mantis people. Again, we think it's this invisible sun thing. And these guys are different from insect people that are pictured above the actual cave painting that I was looking at and behind, as if they're kind of directing what's going on. Back to the guy missing organs. Turns out there are a bunch of folks who came from the same hospital. All of them are missing internal organs. Holy cow, what's going on here? Well, anyway, since we were able to figure out what's going on with these tainted drugs, Doc comes up with some kind of remedy. I don't know if it's actually cure or not. I don't know about medicine to say, but it treats the people, right? And so the commune gets together and they have like a little party, kind of. There's this big dinner. There's a handful of kids here who make these little string bracelet things that they give to us. We make a run back to where the military vehicles, the next day, no, later on. We run back down to where the vehicles were and go to try and pull them back for parts and stuff like that. But while we're there, we get attacked by the lizard riders. Some of them are killed, some get away. Because we're, investigating them. They've got, animal skin clothing, right? But the craftsmanship on the stuff is very fine. It's not like, rough sewn or anything. There's also this boy that we've been watching because he has this quiver that caught our attention with, the leaky ring thing. So there's something weird going on. But he took off late one night. Was gone for 3 days, but he came back with an antelope. So we went hunting. He comes back all stoked about being the big game hunter now. And a couple of us want to keep an eye on him because we're concerned about, one, where he got this quiver, because it's nothing like what anybody else around here has. And this kid's pretty tough. He can handle it out in the wilderness for 3 days all by himself. End log. There was one thing that I wanted to mention about this whole invisible sun thing that is tied with the whole Maliki line stuff dealing with psionics and that kind of weirdo magic mumbo jumbo, which we're now involved with. So there's this undercurrent thread that's going throughout that we've hit on a few times. Dealing with Drake, the guy who showed up at the police station to interrogate us, claiming to be an ASL lawyer. So there's stuff going on. Someday maybe we'll figure it out. Happy game.